Now, there is one unit that's not here that is good for defense that pairs well with the Triana or the Harmonia, which is the Skogul, and that's because in the fire department, the warrior, the rock warrior, what do you call that guy? Hi guys, this is Juno, and welcome back to another Summoners War video. Today we have an informative video because currently we have some events going on due to the 9-year anniversary, and you guys probably have this Nat 5 monster summon event still going on. Some of you guys might have already chosen your Nat 5 that you guys want to go with because there are some clear answers, but I am still debating on mine. Thankfully, out of the 9 choices, I have gotten 2 new. One is the Pudding Princess, the other one was the Fire Paladin, which is Ophelia. And they're both okay options. I think I am leaning toward Ophelia right now. A little sad that we didn't get Oliver. There was one more unit that I wanted, the Ethna. Sadly, those two weren't one of my choices. But it's fine. I'm still very fortunate to get 2 new units when I have 90% of the Nat 5s. The thing I want to talk about today is this one right here, right? So you guys could choose one Nat 4, which is kind of funny. I think by this time they should give you one of each, but oh well, this is calm to us. But I want to talk about which units are good for siege defense because I do make siege defense videos. I used to make a lot of siege defense guides on how to make them and the turn order and stuff. However, I think in current meta, there isn't really one strong siege defense. Even if there is, a LD counterpart is part of that. So I'm kind of scared to make those siege defense guides because I think if I make one, somebody will put in the comments, hey, that one's super easy to counter with this, blah, 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 blah. And it's gonna be true since there is like some clear counters for these defenses. But I think we're at a point where one defense can't really get a whole lot of wins unless you stack them, and stack them. You start only getting wins once you start putting them up again. I don't want my viewers to get a false sense of understanding where, oh, Juno said that this defense is strong, but why isn't it working? I followed all of his rules, but I'm still losing. Rune quality is a thing, and also stacking towers is a thing. Before, I do think there was a point where one certain unit was super duper strong and everybody just made that defense. I think Commune Vigor Skogul was at that point at a certain time. Also, any Carcano type of defense was also very, very strong at a certain point. But as they got nerfed and as they got exploited with different counters, it is really hard to find a defense that has no counters at all, and I can guarantee you get a siege defense win. Before, I was pretty confident that if you make it correctly, that you'll get a defense win in that level. It's not the same anymore. But I still want to talk about some Nat 4s, the water, fire, wind Nat 4s that are good for siege defense, and I'll tell you to go for it if you are still deciding on which Nat 4 to pick. So the easiest way to check is this way, and we're gonna only look at Nat 4s because the Nat 3s, everybody could get it. It's pretty easy, and you guys should know at this point which ones are strong in siege defense. I think the 2 really strong units for Nat 3s, one is the Werewolf, right? The 2A Vigor. Everybody should have one, and I'm pretty sure that you will use it in a siege defense team. And the other one is the 2A Lulu. I guess it's more of a Nat 2, right? But the 2A Lulu is just as strong. It can be very obnoxious paired with the correct defense units. I think everybody should have this as well. Now, you guys could argue there are some other good units, right? There's the Escher. Escher is also very good in defense due to his insane base speed. On the Violent set or Swift set, he is very usable. I don't think he's as strong as the Vigor, but the higher you go up, you'll see some insane Eschers on Violent. So it could be different in your level, but for early game, mid game players, I still think that the Vigor is the stronger 2A unit in defense. Forget about Nat 3s now, let's go into the Nat 4s, which is what we're really going to talk about. Now, from anything here, anything good for defense? No, I don't see. Okay, Clara, let's talk about Clara. The other elements are just trash. You're not going to use them in siege defense especially, but this Clara got a speed lead now, so you might see her more and more in defense, especially in fast cleave type of defenses. I've seen a lot of Clara Savannah Theos. I think that's the most I've seen. She's more paired with the Nat 5 defenses, but she is good. She has a great AI due to the fact that if she's at full HP, she'll always use skill 3. Just having those two benefits allows her to be a very good unit. She's not like the strongest, and she does have a high rune requirement, so I don't really recommend people to go for Clara. If you have everything else, Clara could be a good pick. So I'm not going to talk about Liu Mei because it's an LD. We're just going to talk about the regular elements, okay? Next one is Orion. Orion is still a very good Nat 4 in siege defense. You don't see a lot of Orions in G3, but I do still see him in G2 and G1, in Nat 4 towers mostly. Maybe some Nat 5 towers paired with Sierra. But due to his okay base speed and his skill 3 that gives a AoE attack bar boost, disruption in the opponent team, he is still a very good unit. So if you guys don't have Orion, Orion could be paired in a fast team. There's also this unit here, the Anubis Kamun. Kamun has fallen off pretty hard due to a nerf few patches back where his speed lead got decreased from a 24% to a 19%. So I've built 3 Kamuns when he was OP, when he had a 24 speed lead, but I have to say that I still see him a lot in Nat 4 towers. Paired with the correct units, and due to his still very good passive that gives a shield, a very thick shield, decent damage with skill 2, if you put him on a destroy set, a violent set, he could cause some issues, and also his heal block is very, very beneficial when you are dealing with offenses that come in with a heal. So the speed lead is still no joke, 19%. One of the few speed leads for a Nat 4 counterpart. So he is still very good if you do not have him. Also, Ayunu started coming in as soon as he got a buff with his kit. He's few of the units that had an Oblivion on skill 2. And he has a unique passive where he comes back to life when he dies. He revenges with skill 2, and then he gains a turn right away, right? Yeah, the attack power also increases by 100%, and also full attack bar. So he is actually very popular with aggressive defenses. I have seen him a lot in G3 paired up with Lulu and Kinky, which makes him very, very, very obnoxious. With a few violent procs, he gets this passive back up. Very, very annoying. So here's a family where you should have one of the fire one and one of the wind one for sure. No brainer that in siege defense, both of these units are very good. Triana, the passive is just crazy with very, very good base speed. So you don't have to focus on speed too much. You can make her very, very tanky. Give her some nice artifacts that take less damage from a certain element, preferably wind, because Nat 4 towers get targeted by Lucians, and she could be a problem, right? Some people give her a very, very good artifact with skill 2 recovery, and once she uses that skill, everybody's like half health or more. It's insane. Knowing that she got a buff a few patches back with a guild lead, I mean defense lead, but still it's a tanky lead. It fits her kit is like really well rounded for what she does. Very, very good in siege defense. And that goes the same for the Harmonia. She actually has a better lead, the HP lead, and all of her kit, well, her skill 2 and skill 3 both heal. Especially if you're in early game, I think the safest way to go is to have a Triana defense and then a Harmonia defense for the Nat 4 towers. Now, there is one unit that's not here that is good for defense that pairs well with the Triana or the Harmonia, which is the Skogul, and that's because in the fire department, the warrior, the rock warrior, what do you call that guy? Giant warrior is a 3-star, but the wind one is a 4-star, and it pairs up really, really well with the Harmonia, even the Triana. You could do Triana, Giant Warrior +1. A lot of people that are a little blessed with their LD Lightnings use Trashar, Triana, Trashar, Skogul. But he is really good, easy to rune. I think that's the most important thing for these units, that he's easy to rune. Just have to, you know, slap triple HP, preferably on a violent set. And it's actually pretty hard for Cleaves to go through this defense when it's paired with the Harmonia and also the Vigor. I have showcased this defense, and I have gotten a lot of testimonies, a lot of comments telling me that this defense is working really, really well in G1. So if you're an early level player, a mid-game player, I hope you make this defense. If you don't have Skogul, you can also pick him out. I'm not going to talk about the Shaina or any of the twins because Shaina, Martina, well, Shaina has to be paired with Martina, and Martina is an LD Nat 4, so I'm not going to talk about that. And also, I'm not going to talk about the Dryad because the Dark one is what's good. It kind of fell off the meta. Liu Mei overpowered her. Liu Mei took her spot, I have to say, so I don't see her as much. But she is also good. But Carcano, once the God of Siege defense, is still a very, very good unit. The skill 3 did get nerfed from a 2-turn defense break to a 1-turn, but the 2-turn was just way too OP. So with this great base speed, you could build him on a tanky build. Really just get the crit rate and some accuracy, and he could still do his job. You don't really see a lot of Carcano Vigor Trianas or Carcano Escher Trianas because those have been exploited by certain counters. But in low level, I still think if you pair this guy with maybe even a speed defense yourself, like you give it an Escher, give it an Orion in some way, it could be still a explosive, threatful defense. He wouldn't definitely be my first pick for early game or mid game player if you don't have the unit. Little harder to rune though, because you need the tankiness plus the crit rate plus some speed. So you have to keep that in mind. I value units that are easy to rune in early game, early mid game. So reason why I think Skogul is just really high up there for a defensive unit. And same with the Harmonia and Trianas because they're more of a supportive unit. You just have to go for the tankiness and some speed rather than going for, you know, extra damage, crit rate, crit damage for all the damage dealers that I usually talk about. Same with Orion, you only have to focus on speed, but speed is one of those key indicators on if you're gonna win or not, or if you're stronger than the other player. And that's the reason why a lot of people in the beginning focus on Giant Speed 12 just to get a couple of good fast Swift sets. You know that if you can't make a 280, 290, I guess Swift set by the time you're Conqueror, you're most likely getting outsped by 50% plus, 60% plus of the opponents that are coming in. So Orion is a good pick for defense, and thankfully people don't know your rune quality until they actually hit you once. Maybe you could even force them to use a fast unit when you're a lot slower. So it's still a good defensive unit, still a good defense tower to put up. I just think that you will get a lot of wins with that unit. You truly just have to be faster than the opponent. So the last one, Kaki, right? Kaki is very good. Suiki is also good. Needs great rune quality for Suiki to work because he actually needs to survive for all those turns to take advantage of that full passive. But Kaki on the other hand, if you tune it to like Carcano, Orion, Kaki, your Kaki will at least move. And Kaki actually does immense damage. He also has insane base speed. So it's easy to rune since you don't need any crit rate or crit damage. You just have to get the attack. So speed, attack is probably optimal. And if you take first turn, you might kill someone, which leads you to a win. So other than that, I don't think there are any units that you should go for. I know, Dice Magician, this Ludo was used for a while. The Monte is being used extensively in G3, G2 right now. But again, Monte's an LD Nat 4. He was a Hoa. Obviously, a lot of people weren't playing when that Hoa was going on. So I'm going to assume the new early game, mid game players don't have him. For Siege defense, those are probably it. Sadly, there aren't a lot. There aren't a lot, but that's the truth. There are very few Nat 4s that are really good in Siege defense. And obviously even those that are good needs to be paired with the right team, needs to be sequenced with the right turn order for you to get wins. But that's about it that I think that are really good for Siege defense. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you guys want to know some compositions, put in the comment below. I'll try my best to answer them with some of the units that you could use them with. But most of these right now that I talked about is good both in a Nat 5 tower and in a Nat 4 tower, depending on how you combine the units with. And yes, some will be better with LD counterpart or an LD Nat 4, LD Nat 5 as other components in the defense, but they still work well if they're ruined properly without any LD units in the team. But yeah, guys, that was it. Hope that was helpful. If I missed anything, please let me know. This is strictly only for Siege defense, and I'm trying to figure out right now if I missed anything, if I didn't talk about anything. But I really think for Siege defense, those are the best units. And again, we're not talking about LD counterparts. We're only talking about the regular elements, the fire, water, and wind. With those in mind, I think that's it. It's kind of sad because you'll want all of these units to have some kind of usage in one of the core contents in the game. There isn't really much left in Summoner's War if you get into late game, but seeing that there are so many units not being used, I really think that Com2uS should make some kind of rule in Siege defense so that dupes can't be used. But I don't know, maybe they have some issues on their part. But that was it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you watched till now, please like and subscribe. Also, if you guys want to get account reviews, more content, or support me, please join my Patreon. Also, if you are interested in account improvements, please join my Discord because all the information is there. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.